In New Jersey, we had people marching with a bulldozer, never seen in America, because they were Hindu extremists from India, intimidating and threatening Muslims with bulldozer. Why bulldozer? Because anytime these people come attacking a mosque in India and police doesn't stop those people, Muslims stand up to protect their mosque. That's where police uses bulldozers to demolish homes and shops of Muslims, and in some cases, mosque itself. But that is in India. But what's happening in Leicester, UK? This weekend, media is not saying much about it, but social media has information, and Indian media is blaming Muslims are doing this, Muslims are doing that. That's what they do in India as well. In America, Los Angeles, Muslims were protesting against Hindutva ideology, then protesters were attacked. So is RSS gaining strength in the Western countries? What's happening? We have someone who is a community activist joining us from Leicester, UK, Majid Freeman. Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Jazakallah khair for having me on.
Please tell us what happened this weekend in Leicester, UK.
So to have some context and background, the RSS inspired thugs, they have been causing problem in Leicester for some time now. So on the 22nd of May, a Muslim youngster who was 19, he was attacked by a group of 30 plus of them late at night. They asked him if he's Muslim, they attacked him, they beat him up with bats and poles. They then chased him to his friend's house, where his friend's parents came out, and they beat the friend's father up with the poles and weapons as well, and they beat the mother as well. The family decided to, instead of taking it to the streets and trying to get revenge, they decided to go through the police and report this. Because then they got the CCTV from local neighbors, and handed it over to the police, where you could see the individuals who were carrying out the second attack. And that was on the 22nd of May. Since then, there have been no one that's been charged with them attacks. Unfortunately, the police have not even put an appeal out in public yet, asking if the locals or anyone seen anything in regards to this. At the back of this, then there was...
wait a minute.
Yeah.
So police from May provided evidence and police report, and they haven't done anything yet?
Correct.
That's strange.
Yeah.
So how that connects to what happened this weekend?
So then 2 weeks ago, I think 3 weeks ago, India-Pakistan played. And then the Indian fans, they were out on the streets chanting "Death to Pakistan." Again, this is something that we've never ever seen in Leicester before. So normally there's always rivalry between India and Pakistan. But as we can see clearly, the RSS ideology is moving from India to other parts as well. They're getting more and more brave and confident, and they're manifesting what they actually believe outwardly. So that was another thing that was a cause for concern for the locals, because we're wondering, where did this come from all of a sudden? Then a week after that, they played again and Pakistan beat them. And at that night, late at night, they approached one of the other youngsters, Muslim youngsters, 20-year-old. They approached him around 12:30 at night. They asked him if he was involved in the Pakistan celebrations earlier on another street. He said no, he wasn't there. They then asked him if he threw eggs at them, and he said no, I've just come out to have a cigarette right now, just opposite my house. And then out of the blue, he was in the park. There's around 30 of them. They closed the gates of the park, and they absolutely beat him up with poles, bats, etc. He had to have operation on his arm the following day. He was seriously injured, and he's lucky to be alive, according to the boy himself. He thought he was going to die. So now you're probably wondering, why am I telling you about these version of events? We believe, as the Muslims in Leicester, that the people who were involved in the first attack on the 22nd of May we believe some of them may be the same people who are involved in the recent attack 2 weeks ago. Now, because it was in a similar place to the first one, similar time, similar kind of attack, identical, like with weapons, etc., not far from each other, and similar time as well. Now, we believe if the police acted on the information they had in the first place from 22nd May, maybe this attack would not have happened.
So why do you think police did anything in the second attack?
So since the second attack, all the police have been doing, putting out statements saying that this is over cricket. So they're trying to downplay the situation and say these are just some guys fighting over India cricket. But really, the reality is that it's nothing to do with the cricket. The cricket was just another excuse that the RSS thugs used to express their hatred. Now, in the meantime, there's a lot of other things that have been happening behind the scenes as well, like antisocial behavior in the community by these same groups. They get drunk, they play music loud at night, 2, 3 a.m. They're extremely unhygienic. They urinate on the streets like they're back home. They're extremely dirty people. And some people say that these people may have come to the UK in the last 5-6 years. That are behaving in this antisocial behavior. Now, since 2 weeks when they beat the other boy up, that's when all the Muslims came out in Leicester and they said, we're not going to leave it to the police to deal with. We're going to deal with this ourselves because the police clearly are not taking it serious. Since then, the RSS thugs, they went into hiding. So for the last 2 weeks, it's been extremely peaceful in Leicester. The local residents have said that for the first time, a whole week's gone by and they've not even had to call the police once to complain about the antisocial behavior. Now, what happened on Saturday was, out of the blue, the police assured us and said, can you ask the Muslim community to stay calm? We've got everything under control. We've got extra police now who have come in from outside, and we're taking this very, very seriously. So the Muslims have been staying calm. They never responded. They never retaliated. They stayed very, very calm for 2 weeks, and there was peace in Leicester for 2 weeks until Saturday, when around 6 p.m. in the evening, we seen videos of RSS thugs in masks, hoods, with marching down the streets with weapons in their hands, whilst the police were escorting them. They marched for over 2.5 miles, all the way towards the area where all of the fighting was kicking off. So this was a very sensitive area. Police assured us that this would not happen. They had no control of the situation. They were chanting. They were chanting away. People would say it's a free country. Why can't people protest? Number one, it's a very sensitive time. No one was allowed to protest in these streets at that time. But let's say, for argument's sake, the police never knew that they were going to protest. That's fine. But if they never knew they were going to protest, in that 2.5 miles, they could have stopped them somewhere along the way and prevented them from heading in this direction. When they eventually got to that direction, they started attacking random Muslim men on the streets. At that point, when the video started circulating around in the community that this is what's happening, because remember, for the past 2 weeks, the Muslims, the RSS thugs, they've been in hiding. They've never actually come out. But this time, they came from other RSS thugs. They also came from out of Leicester and they joined them. And they were protesting, they were marching together. And when they came in this area and tried to terrorize the community, the Muslims came out in their numbers and they head-on tried to tackle this cancer and deal with this issue and protect the community.
Well, taking law into their hand, do you think that provides a solution for the situation?
No, definitely not. Definitely not. And it's not the wisest move to go out on the streets. However, the people in the community, they were assured by the police that the police had everything under control. Yeah. But because the police did not have everything under control, they let these thugs come into this area and break the peace and attack random Muslims. Because the police couldn't protect the Muslims that were being attacked, that's why the locals came out and we protected our community ourselves.
So the Federation of Muslim Organization in Leicester has criticized police that these things were planned and police should have acted alone. Do you think that the rest of the Leicester feels the same way as the Muslim organizations are feeling, or Leicester as in general has no idea about this?
The Muslims in Leicester have been extremely tolerant and patient. Because remember, the RSS thugs were the aggressive party. So Muslims and Hindus, Sikhs in Leicester, we've been living together side by side in peace for decades. Never had no issues. Even when the Babri Masjid stuff happened, the Gujarat riots happened, nothing spilled over into Leicester, into the UK. There was no reaction down here. It's only now that these RSS-inspired thugs, this ideology that they have, they're getting more braver, and they're trying to act out on the streets of Leicester what they're doing to the Muslims and the minorities in India. But obviously, this is the UK. This isn't India. They can't walk over people without a reaction, and this is what happened. They tried to terrorize the community, but is eventually, in the end, they were the ones who were running away and cornered on one side, and the police had to save them at the end. They caused an actual riot in the whole city, and the people in this community, I don't think we will allow this cancer to spread down here.
Sikh Federation of UK is saying that UK as a whole is not paying attention to Hindutva ideology and extremism in UK. Do you agree with that statement?
Unfortunately, they're right in what they're saying. We've been speaking to many police officers ourselves. I think the problem is they're not educated on this problem in the first place. They don't have enough knowledge about the Hindutva RSS ideology. So because they're not educated and they're not aware of this problem, it's extremely difficult for them to tackle it. So I think one of the first things they will have to do is become more educated on it. And until they're not educated, how will they tackle the problem? They don't even know that the problem exists.
Well, thank you so much, Majid Freeman. Thank you so much for your time. I appreciate it.
Jazakallah khair for having me on. Much appreciated. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah.